Good evening, everybody. We are just starting in the next 30 seconds, okay? Grab your pen and paper and let's begin the journey. We are just waiting for a few more people to join in and let's this journey begin, okay? All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 3-day live Green Belt Hackathon, where it is a kind of fast track revision of this entire course, and I'm sure you are going to enjoy this. So, are you guys ready? Just give me a ready in the chat box. Team, can you just give me the chat on the screen, please? Super. Type ready in the chat box, everybody. Grab your pen and paper, completely settle yourself down. Just a second. Just super. Ready? Amazing, amazing. Ready, ready, ready. Super, super. Here we go. All right. Chalo. So let's begin the journey. So let me give you the background. Why have we started this? Because lot of people after the admission, they used to start with enthusiasm after yellow belt, right? They take the admission, but what happens after that? Because the life takes on. You guys are busy people. We all know that. So some other project comes, or you have some other priorities, and then even though you are studying, you always tend to a little bit of what you can say, extend and postpone your green belt certification. Okay, so we have decided to fix this problem once and for all. So we have decided to go for this hackathon, which is a 3-day session, where all of us together just to recap this entire green belt quickly for this next almost approximate 8 to 9 hours. We will be together for 3 days. Okay, and in that we will touch upon main topics of the green belt. Some topics which we have covered in the yellow belt, some topics which are very simple, we will not cover them, but other topics which require a little bit of more explanation, those topics we are going to cover. Okay, so let me share my screen, and here we go. Super. Amazing. So today we are going to cover some part of introduction to Lean Six Sigma, some part of define phase. And if time permits, we'll start a little bit of basic statistics of major phase as well. Okay. So is my screen visible to you, which says Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Fast Track Certification Hackathon, and my voice loud and clear? Just give me a yes in the chat box. Amazing, amazing. Super. Thank you very much. So let's begin the journey. Team, I think you need to just lower that. Otherwise, I'll have to start the other screen. Okay, that's better. That's always better. Fantastic. Chalo. So the first point here is strategic forces. Okay. Yeah. So this is for, see, this is open forum for a lot of other members as well. Okay, a lot of invitees are there. The challenge is now this certificates will only be granted to the members of SNG. Okay, you guys are absolutely okay. If you feel that this is a very good platform for us to learn and get certified, okay, then you need to get in touch with our admin and our admin number. Sohail, can you just give the admin WhatsApp number? You need to get in touch with admin number for the procedure of taking admission for the certification, the next process. Okay. Yes. Super. Chalo. So this is the number given by Sohail here. So what are the strategic forces? Strategic forces meaning the force which can change the strategy of the company. Very simple. The force which can change the strategy of the company, it's called strategic force. Okay. Now, let's go one by one. Imagine this hexagon is your organization. Imagine that is your organization. Okay. And on your organization, there are always some forces keep on acting. Okay. Some forces keep on acting. What are those forces? Let me just touch upon them one by one. The first and the foremost force is called as customer. What does it mean? It means customer requirements can change the strategy of the organization. Understand this? If customer today is expecting, okay, a product delivery from you in 10 days, and if customer, wants the delivery within 5 days, that means you have to change your processes, the way you are doing the work, etc. So customer demand, market demand is the biggest strategic force for you. Are you clear? This hexagon is the organization, and these are the strategic forces which keep on applying, which keep on basically, what you can say, applying on these kinds of, just a second. Super. So the second strategic force is nothing but a current competitor. Okay, if you are a pizza delivery or pizza making company, and your current competitor is saying 30 minutes pizza delivery or free. Okay. Yes. So if your pizza delivery is saying current competition is saying 30 minutes or free, you cannot sit back and say I will deliver in 45 minutes. You have to compete with your current competition, otherwise you will lose your market share. It can be on the quality, it can be on the cost, it can be on the delivery time, it can be on the service quality, service ability. It can be on any factor, any front, but you always have to compete with your current competition. You cannot sit back, relax, and say that no, I will just do whatever I feel. I'm talking about a company wise, okay? It's not individual. The next one is called the potential competitors. Now, potential competitors are the competition which is not yet come, but there is a potential for them to come. Can you tell me in telecom, what is the potential competition which is about to come in India? Type in the chat box. In telecom sector, now the known players are Jio and Vodafone and Bharti Airtel, right? So all we know. But what is the potential competition which is coming? Yes, exactly. Super. Yes, it's Elon Musk's Starlink, which is about to come. And of course, there are other companies also, but the Starlink is the biggest threat. Yes or no? Yeah, BSNL it's not a potential competition, it is the current competition. BSNL is the current competition. And BSNL ko competition mante bhi diye log. Okay. So yeah, Jio can be, when Jio was not there, the Jio was the potential competition. Okay. I used to coach Vodafone a decade ago. Okay. I used to go to a lot of circles of the telecom sector, like Mumbai and Goa and Kolkata and, the other sectors, and we used to teach. So at that point in time, we used to give example of Jio, because Jio was not, the Reliance. If Reliance comes in, and then Jio was launched later. Okay, so it was a potential competitor then, but now it is a current competition, and Starlink could be the potential competitor. Are you clear? If Starlink comes with some new strategy, so the current competitors have to change their strategy accordingly. Okay. Now, the next one is government policies. Correct. We have seen demonetization. We have seen GST implementation. Okay. Every policy decision of government changes, the strategy of the organization. Okay. The innovative change. Yes, but again, it will take a lot of time for BSNL to come. जितने जल्दी BSNL चेंज करेगा, उसके भी ज्यादा बहुत सारे कंपनीज आगे आके चेंजेस करेंगे. But again, it's good that BSNL is doing some rapid changes, but again, it will take time. Okay. Next one is the complementers. What is complementer meaning? Complementer meaning there are businesses who complement with each other. Just try to understand this. Okay. Complementer meaning, let's say, so let's say automotive segment and the steel segment. Automotive companies and the steel companies. Okay, let's say automotive sale goes up, the steel requirement also, the demand of the steel also goes up. The real estate business and the steel, again, real estate goes up, the steel goes up. Real estate goes up, the cement goes up. The real estate goes up, the lending business, which is the banking sector, banking, the NBFCs, the lenders, basically, that business goes up. So that is called complementing business. Can you give me some example of other complementing businesses which you know of? Like I've said the auto sector and the steel sector, and vice versa. Okay, they are complementing businesses of each other. Can you give me some complementing business examples? Maybe one or two which you know. Any general example will do. Type in the chat box, guys. Type in the chat box. Agriculture and chemical, fantastic example. Restaurant and Zomato, fantastic example. Garment and dyes, super example. So restaurant and Zomato, Swiggy and all, correct. Tourists and hotels, very nice. So tourism, hotels, complementing business. And tourism, in that tourism as well, the aviation industry also. Aviation and other transportation hub also gets developed. These are complementing businesses. Okay, super. So complementing businesses, if one goes up, other goes up. If one goes down, other also has the impact on this. Okay, so it is both ways. That's why the arrows are shown both ways. Understand this. Here, government policy also, understand this. Arrows are shown on both ways. What does it mean? It means government policy can impact an organization, but organizations also can impact the government policy. Are you understanding? Okay, you would have seen a lot of big business tycoons influencing government policy. Yes or no, everybody? Even though government people, the people who are in the government, they take the decision, but there are influencers. There are some cartels. There are some business, groups, the lobbying, which can influence the policies of the government. Yes or no? Exactly. That's why it is always a double, arrow. Very good. And the next one is called substitute. What is substitute? Substitute meaning the businesses which can substitute your product or service from the market. That is called a substitute business. A business which can substitute your product or your service from the market. It is called a substitute business. Now, example, the laptops substituting desktops. Desktop, the big computers we used to have earlier, a decade ago or 10, 20 years ago. Laptops, destroyed that market. Then laptops have been destroyed by some, what you can say, small tablets. Tablets is destroyed by mobile phone. Now, mobile phone can do a lot of things. We don't need even laptop right now. So, a lot of things, are changing because of the technological advancement. So, any technology which can actually put your product or service out of the market, That is called a substituting technology. Now, why these forces are important? Because these forces keep on applying, okay, applying on our organization. Yes, so solar automobiles or the EV, electric vehicles, substituting petrol and diesels. Okay, yeah. So all these forces keep on acting on the organization, whether you like it or not, all the time, 24/7. Okay. So what happens is, now this is the very important segment inside the hexagon, inside our company. What happens? Majority of the time. Now, let me ask you one question. How much time, let's say your overall time spent in your organization is, let's say 100%. Okay, listen to me very carefully. This question is very important. If your overall time spent on your, in your company is 100%, how much time do you basically spend on improving and innovating, and how much time you are spending on maintaining the processes? Well, understand first question. Out of 100% of the time you spend in the company, the organization, how much time you give on innovation and improvement, and how much time you are giving on maintaining the status quo of the process? Type in the chat box. Everybody, I want everybody to answer this question. No, giving percentage, not in minutes. Okay, percentage में बोलिए, just like 90-100 or 10-90. 10% on improvement and 90% on just maintaining the standard. 80% on maintaining, 20% on improvement. 30% on improvement, 70%. 5% on improvement. Fantastic. 20%, 10%. So can you see that majority of us are spending less time on improvement and more time on maintaining? Yes. So look at this. Maintaining the old products and services, we spend more time, and improvement on quality, cost, delivery, and service, we spend very less time. And that's where Lean Six Sigma comes into picture. Now, there is a very famous quote from a very famous CEO of a company. The name of the company is GE. And the ex-CEO, of course, he is no more now. Ex-CEO, his name is Jack Welch. Maybe you can just make a note of this name. He is the one, after Motorola, he is the one who actually implemented Six Sigma across General Electric, GE. Okay. Now, what was the statement of Jack Welch? Just listen to me very carefully. I'm just paraphrasing it. It might be, the words might be a little different, but understand the meaning of it. That is more important. What he said, if the rate of external change, let's just try to understand this. Huh? If the rate of external change, now this hexagon is the organization. Okay. Rate of external changes, the external changes meaning all these forces. Okay. If rate of external change is more than rate of internal change, maybe you can write this down. If rate of external change is more than rate of internal change, then it is the beginning of the end of the organization. Very, very important and very, very powerful statement. It is the beginning of the end of the organization. I repeat the statement once again. If the rate of external change is more than the rate of internal change, then it is the beginning of the end of the organization. Super powerful. Superb. So let me just copy this. Thank you very much, Gulfaroz, for this. I'm just copying this for you and pasting it for everybody. Rate of change of external is more than the internal. What is internal change? Internal change meaning the changes which we are doing. See, we are also doing improvements. No? We are also making some smaller changes in the company, smaller projects we are doing. We are also solving the problems, yes? But that is called internal change. But rate of external change is greater than rate of internal change. That is the beginning of the end of the organization. Okay, very, very powerful statement. Clear, everybody? Have you understood this? Just type yes in the chat box. How do we measure internal and external change? Very important. Okay, it can be measured with the help of, if let's say your Understand this. It's very simple indication. If your market share, your profitability, your productivity, everything is, it's kind of, if it's going up, that means you are improving more from within. If your market share is going down, there are a lot of customer complaints. If your, sales is dropping, profitability is going down, it's an indicator that rate of external change is more than the rate of internal change. Clear? Super, super. External change meaning all these factors putting external pressure on the organization. That is called external change. Are you clear, guys? External change, samajh mein aaya? All these factors which I just mentioned, these statistical, the strategic forces, those forces exert the pressure on the organization. Pressure to change, yes or no? Government, let's say government policy. If government policy changes, you have to change or not. It's an external change, It is externally enforced change, yes or no? Correct? Government ka policy change ho gaya. You have to change your strategy or not. This is called external forces. If external force is greater than internal force, then it will struggle. So Lean Six Sigma plays a very vital role on improvement of this. Clear, everybody? Super, super. So let's move on now with this. You can take the screenshots of this just to. Now in the define phase, what we do is, so we will see, first of all, the project identification. Okay, so we will see this entire journey today. Project identification, then the vocabulary of Lean Six Sigma, then SIPOC, project charters, stakeholder analysis, etc. So project charter, etc., we have already seen in the yellow belt, so we will not touch upon that. But whatever we have not seen, that we will cover today. Okay. Now, how do we select the project? That is the most important part. So while selecting the project, these could be the sources of selecting the project. What are the sources? First one is the strategy. Strategy of the company. That's what we have just seen, right? If your competitor company says 30 minutes or free pizza delivery, okay, and right now let's say your delivery time, your delivery lead time is, let's say 40 minutes on an average. Average, okay. The average is 40 minutes. Then, and if your competitor is basically asking for 30 minutes or free, that's their marketing campaign. Okay. Now, can you sit back, relax on 40 minutes? Tell me, can you sit back and relax? No, right? You have to make certain changes in your process, in your lead time, and that becomes your strategic project. Some projects are driven by the strategy directly. Okay. Now, you would have seen every year, okay, your top management, before the start of the financial year, make the strategies of the company, right? So it can be a making of the strategy, or it can be modification of the strategy, but that happens before the beginning of the financial year. Okay. So this exercise done with the top management, with the boardroom, and some of the consultants together. Okay. So top management with data, with the consultant helps. So these people make these strategic initiatives, and from those initiatives, basically, now those projects are identified. Now, in Lean Six Sigma, basically, okay, which level basically what you can say, identify the project? Type in the chat box if you are aware of this. Is yellow belt people identify the project, or green belt people identify the project? Type in the chat box. Which level of hierarchy in Lean Six Sigma basically are involved in identification of the project? Type in the chat box if you are aware of this. Super, super, very nice. So some of you have absolutely right answer. So it's not yellow belt, it's not green belt. Actually, it is master black belt with top management. Write this down, very important. Whose accountability is there to identify the project of Lean Six Sigma in organization? It is master black belt with top management. If master black belt is not available, it's not there, then black belt also can play that role of master black belt. Okay, when MBB is not there. Okay, so this is But ideally, master black. That's what in the master black belt level course, we cover this strategy, SWOT analysis, and there is something called, what is the X matrix? X matrix, which is one of the Hoshin Kanri technique, one of the Japanese technique to identify the projects. Okay. So SWOT analysis is also one of the source of identifying projects, which is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. I'm just giving you an outline of how you can actually identify the projects. So strength, weakness are basically internal metric, strength and weakness, and opportunities and threats are the external metrics. Okay, and all these deeper analysis basically can give us the gap. Okay, what is the requirement and where we are right now standing, and if there is a gap, that can identify Lean Six Sigma projects. Okay, then low performing KPIs. Everybody's aware of KPIs. If yes, type in the chat box what is the full form of KPI quickly. What is KPI? Key performance. What is that? Yes, fantastic. Key performance indicators. Absolutely right. It's key performance indicator. Give it to me here. Super. It's key performance indicator, right? Now, wherever you have your processes key performance indicators which are not meeting the target which are set, it's a fantastic source for projects. Okay. For example, let's say you are a BPO company, and your average call handling time is, the target is 10 minutes and you are taking 15 minutes. Okay, average call handling time. Now, so from 15 minutes to 10 minutes is your project. So low performing KPIs are the fantastic source for the project identification. All right. Now in your company, write down, type in the chat box, what is the lowest performing KPI right now, currently, the only one, the highest, the biggest pain area for your process. What is the lowest performing KPI right now? And KPIs have to be measurable. Understand this. Okay. If it is not measurable, it is not KPI. Okay. Yes. Sales. Very good. Quality score. Repeat callers. Okay. Tool life achievement. Okay. Tool life is one of the KPI you have. FCR. Generally what happens is, you guys are used to it. Okay. But for other people, okay, let's write down the full form of that. What is FCR? Okay. Yeah. So R for rejection, that's what I can say. But every organization has a different nomenclature. So yeah, customer complaint closing, that field customer reports, wastage, specific oil consumption, scrap, SLA, resource adequacy, very good. Breakdowns, very nice. Power consumption, yield, first time right, first call resolution, fantastic. Productivity, all these are low performing KPIs, and these are potential projects. Okay. Apart from that, customer complaints, it's a fantastic source for the projects, guys. Whatever customer complaints is repeatedly coming, all right, or customer complaint coming from your critical customers, those are your Lean Six Sigma projects. Okay. Cost reduction projects. Now, if you want to become a very favorite of your management, okay, select the cost reduction projects. These projects are a fantastic source for Lean Six Sigma projects. Okay. Yes. CSAT, shortages, customer detractors, very nice. And the quality issues. Okay. Whatever what you can say, internal quality rejection, defect rejection, all these are potential projects for you guys. Okay. Super clear hai? Everybody till now with me? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear? Amazing. So it's very simple strategy. Go to your process, just collect all the data of your KPIs and find out the the lowest performing KPI for yourself. That's your project. Okay. Very good. There are some other strategies as well. And while selecting the project, we have to take care of certain things before we finalize the project. And what are those certain things? Number one is the project should be meaningful and manageable. Okay. It should be meaningful and manageable. What does it mean? Meaningful to the customer and meaningful to the business. Okay. Meaningful to the customer and meaningful to the business. Yeah, actually, Indramani ji, SWOT is not covered in detail in the green belt level. I've just mentioned that SWOT is one of the source of identifying the project. It is a strategic tool, which is strength, weakness. Okay, so it's like the top management people sit together and brainstorm about what are the organization's strengths. All right. For example, the brand image of the organization, it's a strength of the company. All right. If what you can say, the skilled manpower, it can be the strength of the company. Weakness, W stands for weakness. What is the weakness of the organization? Let's say weakness of the organization can be the standardization is not properly maintained. The data is not properly maintained. It can be the weakness. So strength and weakness are the internal things. Okay, strength and weakness. So the projects which are identified are to increase the strength and to reduce or eliminate the weakness. So these are the projects we have to identify. All right. Then the opportunities meaning, what are the opportunities right now on the horizon we can see? And to grab those opportunities, can we make certain modification in our processes? Those kinds of projects will come. And the threat meaning the, what I can say, the challenges which are coming from external sources, from the competitors, etc. Are you clear? Yes? Fantastic. Yeah, Gulfaroz, no, this is only for the training. If you need the certificate, send a message on the number which was sent. Okay. Or you can send the message on this number. Team, can you just give the number once again? The certifications will only be granted to the members here. Okay, there are members and there are invitees here. Okay, so if you are not the member, you can go through the training program, understand the power of this. Okay, and you can upgrade yourself for the green belt. Okay, green belt and black belt combo, and our team will explain you about it. Okay, just send a message, one-liner, and we'll explain you about the latest offer we have. Okay. Anyways, coming back to meaningful, meaning it should be meaningful to the customer, the project. It should be meaningful to the business. Okay. So customer-oriented projects are called as VOC related projects, which are external. Make a note of this, which are externally driven projects, and business related projects are called as VOB, which is voice of business, which is called internal projects. I'll give you example of this. Okay. So any specific customer complaints which is coming. So these are called external projects coming directly from the customer or the market. Any specific customer coming, complaint coming back again and again. So if you take up a project on that, that becomes an external projects coming from voice of customer. Voice of customer meaning, which we're going to see now. And let's say internal customer, internal like VOB, which is voice of business. These are called internal projects. Now, what are the internal projects? Example, let's say machine downtime reduction. Machine downtime. This is the internal project, completely internal. The customer has got nothing to do with your internal machine downtime. Yes, they are business-oriented projects. Are you clear about this? So it has to be either important to the customer or important to the business. Clear hai? Super. Now, coming back to manageable. Manageable meaning it should be within the control of the organization. Okay. Who is this? Okay. Lohar sir, why don't you send a message on the admin number? Then they will do the needful. Okay. Yeah, just send a message on this. and then we'll do the needful. Okay? Yeah, super, super. And it should be within the control of the organization. Okay. That means the root causes should be within the control. We should be able to send what you can say. We should be able to basically manage those kinds of root causes. Should be able to take some action on those root causes. Okay. Those should not be too big projects like world hunger projects. पूरी दुनिया की भूखमरी मिटा दूंगा. Okay. So those kinds of projects should not be there, and it should not be too small projects at the green belt level. So it's like, just understand this. Now, let's say there are 5 levels. Try to understand this so that it will give you a little bit of clarity. Okay, white belt, yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and a master black belt, MBB. Right? Everybody's aware of these 5 levels. Just type yes in the chat box. White belt to master black belt. Everybody's aware of these levels. Yes? Everybody's aware. Fantastic. Now, white belts, they don't do the projects. It is just an awareness level program. Yellow belt, they can do small projects, very small projects, easy peasy projects. Okay, you can complete the projects within one week time. Okay, maximum 1 week or 1 month, more than not more than that. Green belt projects, they are moderate complex projects or medium complex projects. What is medium complex projects? It's a chronic project, a chronic problem which is coming back again and again, but within your department. Okay, it's not very complex in nature. Multiple departments are not involved. Okay, now when it comes to black belt projects, they are highly complex projects. Highly complex meaning multiple department, multiple functions, multiple stakeholders are involved. Okay, and the complexity of the project is very high. That's why it requires a little bit of more duration. Master black belt, again, they are not project doers. They are the mentors of the project. So they mentor yellow belt, green belt, and black belt. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? Just make a note of this. White belt don't do the projects. Yellow belt, smaller project. Green belt, medium. Black belt, complex projects. And the master black belts are the mentors. They are the trainers and the mentors. Clear? Now, when I say it should not be too small, so those projects should be some kind of, some kind of potential saving into that. All right. Some kind of, it should not be very simple, which is even logical thinking also you can solve this. So Lean Six Sigma is a very powerful tool. It should be used to solve either moderate complex or high complex project. Of course, small projects also you can do, but generally it is used for moderate complex and high complex projects. Okay. So that's why you should be able to make sure that at least, you are taking care of this when you are selecting the projects. Okay. Super. Now, let's go to this. There are two things. Urgency and importance. Now, this is very, very important, what you can say, diagram. Now, whenever you are selecting the project, okay, it should be, understand this is very, very important. It should be important project, but it should not be super urgent project. It should be moderately urgent project. Understand this. Just try to understand this. Why? If it is super urgent, what is super urgent project meaning? If management is asking you to deliver the result of the project within, let's say, 15 days or 1 month, which is a complex project, let's say, and management is forcing you to basically deliver results, so that is not possible, because then you might, what you can say, compromise on the step-by-step DMAC principles and the tools, which is not recommended in this Lean Six Sigma. Okay, so it should be moderately complex and it should not be super urgent. Super urgent meaning customer already standing on the doorstep and you are asking to solve the problem and do the project. It should not be done like that. Okay, then you will be compromising on a lot of steps, which should not be done. Are you clear? So it should be urgent, but not super urgent. It should be moderately urgent. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat box. It should be important and moderately urgent project. Clear है? Super duper आग लगी हुई है तब Lean Six Sigma project मत करना. That is what it means. Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, apart from that, importance and difficulty. This is also similar kind of thing. Difficulty. So it's like two easy projects and two complex projects. So we should be a moderately complex project. We should be actually selecting. Okay. So that the success rate should be better. All right. Now let's come to the vocabulary of Lean Six Sigma. This is very, very important. What is the vocabulary? Let's go one by one about this. Okay. Now, vocabulary meaning what general verbatims we are using during the projects of Lean Six Sigma. The first one is called voice of customer, which I have already explained you earlier. Voice of customer meaning the data, the feedback, customer complaints you are collecting from the customer. It's called voice of customer. Okay. So do you have, so tell me one thing, how many times or what are the sources through which you can collect the customer requirement, customer complaints, customer data to your company? Type in the chat box. Type various levels or various ways through which you basically collect this information, collect this data, collect this inputs. Okay. It can be data, it can be, yes, feedbacks, surveys, the CSAT score, the ratings, fantastic. The emails, the complaints, amazing, amazing. Or it can be a phone call. It can be a phone call for your, incoming monthly reviews. Very good, fantastic. So all this data, what we have collected, it tells us what our customer is talking about, and that is called voice of customer. Clear? Now, example, let's take a simple example here. Let's say if I take a voice of customer of a hotel, okay, and somebody has written that I'm not happy with the service. I'm not happy with the service. Now, voice of customer is generally a little vague statement, and you have to identify the real reason behind it. Okay. So with the service, okay. So let's say this is the voice of customer we have collected. Now then, exactly tell me, let's say for a hotel or a restaurant. Okay, it's a hotel where there are rooms, there are restaurants. Okay. Now, what are the major factors which can satisfy the customer? What are the major factors in a restaurant or in a hotel which will satisfy the customer? Type in the chat box according to you. What are those major factors? Fantastic, super. So it can be the quality of the food. Fantastic. It can be the hygiene. Very nice. What else? It can be the service. Very good. It can be the delivery time. Absolutely right. Okay. Now, very nice. Fantastic. You guys are bang on. Yeah, the behavior, the hospitality, the behavior of the people, the cleanliness, the hygiene. Okay. Now, can we measure those things? Can we measure the quality? Type in the chat box. Can we put some number to the quality? Yes, no, everybody. I want everybody to respond to this. Can we measure quality? Yes, we can, right? Yes, we can. How can we measure the quality? Yes, we can give the rating on the scale of 1 to 10. On the scale of 1 to 100, we can give the rating. Yes or no? Same goes with the hygiene. Same goes with the hospitality. We can give so we can ask. Now, when we take the cab, right? After the ride is over, the cab software asks us a rating. Yes or no, everybody? What is that? What is that rating? Now, Now, if that cab software, let's say Ola or Uber, they ask me, how was your ride? How was the driver? So somebody will say, yes, it was good. It was better. But what is good in your perception? How can we just gauge it? So on the scale of 1 to 5, they give the rating, right? How good was that? Was it 5? Was it 4? Was it 3? So that rating can form a scale, right? Delivery lead time, we can measure the time in minutes. So the measurable quality attributes, which will satisfy the customer, it is called critical to quality. Measurable quality attributes, okay, it should be measurable, which will satisfy the customer, that is called critical to quality, or CTQ. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Clear hand? Very good. Now tell me, type in the chat box, give me at least one of your CTQ, of your own product or service. आपके प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस का एक क्रिटिकल टू क्वालिटी एट्रीब्यूट मुझे बताइए, which can be measured, which is measurable. Type in the chat box, everybody. On time delivery, SLA, diameter, CSAT, SLA of defect fixing, PQI, okay, CSAT, BQI. Super. Okay, perfect. In process quality, MTBF, MTTR, mean time between the failure and mean time to repair, hole diameter, I will be fantastic. So these are called CTQs, which are measurable. Clear, everybody? Okay, PDI, DPMO, fantastic, super. Now then comes the voice of design and specification limit. Both are same actually. Okay. Now let's take delivery time. Okay. Now customer expects the delivery time, target delivery time to be, let's say, 20 minutes. Okay. And the maximum delivery time, which we call it as upper specification limit, can be 30 minutes. So if, let's say, pizza delivery example, if customer receives the pizza after 30 minutes, it will be rejected. Meaning, customer will receive it, but customer does not have to pay for it. Okay. And on the other side, there will be a lower specification limit, let's say 10 minutes. That means company sets these boundaries for their people to deliver within these band of 10 minutes to 30 minutes. That means you need to deliver the pizza between 10 to 30 minutes to get your cash in. Okay. And these limits are called as specification limits. Okay. So do you have the specification limits in your company? Just type yes or no in the chat box. In the critical parameters, do you have the specification limits given? Yes or no? Everybody has it? Very good. Super. Can you guys correlate with your own example? Then it will make sense. Okay. Just try to correlate. I'm just giving you very generic examples. Just try to correlate with this. Okay. Now the target, meaning this is the target. This 20 minutes is the target. This is where we need to hit. Okay. The defect, if you come after 30 minutes, it's a defect. All right. Yeah. Air pressure minimum 4.5 kg per centimeter square. It is a pressure. This is the specification set by that, right? Yeah. Voice of design and specification limit is the same thing. Voice of design. So from the voice of customer, okay, our design team decides that within these limits, within the specification limits, our product should be made. And that is called voice of design. Clear? It is nothing but a specification limit decided. Clear enough? Okay. Then let's come to defect opportunity. What is defect opportunity? This is very, very interesting. Okay. Let's imagine we are the shirts manufacturer. We are manufacturing shirts, or let's say blazers. Okay. Now the shirts or the blazers, this is one unit or one product. Okay. In one product, there could be multiple defect opportunities. For example, there could be stain. While making this product, there could be stain on the shirt, or there could be buttons missing, or there could be the stitching problem, Okay, so these are multiple defect opportunities in one product. Even one defect comes out of these multiple defect opportunities, that will make that product defective. Try to understand this. Okay. Yes, VOC can be for the internal customers as well. Absolutely, yes. VOC can be internal, VOC can be external. Absolutely. Okay. Now, defect opportunities meaning in one product or service, there could be multiple types of defects which can come, and those are called defect opportunities. Okay. So now just type in the chat box one defect opportunity which can come in your product or in your service. Type in the chat box at least one defect opportunity which generally comes. Okay. जो जनरली मैक्सिमम टाइम आती है वो टाइप करो चैट बॉक्स में क्विकली. Super. Absolutely right, Sagar ji. Downtime, error of solution, short molding. Okay, short molding can be one of the defect opportunity. Oversize or underside diameter can be a defect opportunity. Less weight than the requirement specification, defect opportunity. Repetitive breakdown, oversize, wrong service provided due to wrong identification. Very good. Silica content, candidate back out. Yes. Are you from HR or recruitment? Candidate back out is a big challenge. So we have also a recruitment firm, and we also face the same challenge. Okay, somebody of let's say good package, let's say 5 lakh rupees ka package hai, and he has accepted the service and joined the service, and then after 15 days he backs off. It's like yeah, it's a big problem, big challenge. Anyway, yeah, impurity, fantastic. So are you clear with defect opportunity? Then comes the voice of process. Voice of process. What is voice of process? Voice of customer is what customer speaks about your product. Voice of process is nothing but the data coming out of your product process. Voice of process is nothing but the data. That's it. For example, what is the production you have made? That is the voice of process. How much, how many sales you have made in a day? That is the voice of process. Are you clear? How many rejections in a shift? That is the voice of process. What is the downtime for the day? That is the voice of process. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in chat box. This is how the process speaks. The process speaks through the data. That's what it's called, voice of process. Simple. Yeah, the difference between defect and a defect opportunities are, defect opportunities are the potential defects, and the defects are actually which have come while inspection. Okay, are you understanding? The question is, what is the difference between the defect opportunity and the defects? The defect opportunity is the potential difference. So in one product, there could be multiple defect opportunities, and while inspection, we identify 1 or 2 out of them. That is called the actual defects. Okay. So the difference between defects. So defect meaning, as I mentioned, let's say shirt. The next question is, what is the difference between the defect and the defective? Let's say shirt. There are let's say 3 defect opportunities. What are those? Stain on the shirt, or buttons are missing, and the stitching problem. Okay, let's say there are 3 defect opportunities. Let's say while inspection, if we found the stain, that will make that entire shirt as a product defective. Okay, so stain is a defect and the shirt is defective. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat box. And rejection. What is rejection? Rejection is nothing but anything which goes out of specification is rejection. Clear? It can be internal rejection, it can be external rejection, but if it is not fitting the specification, it is rejected. It is called rejection. Clear, everybody? Even, yes, even one defect comes, that means the product is defective. Absolutely right. Correct? Clear, hai? Super. Now, what is project Y? The project Y is nothing but, okay, Yes, not passing the quality check. Exactly. That's what the defect, the rejection. Okay. The project Y is nothing but a initiative. For example, let's take the initiative. Now the delivery time, if the delivery time is a concern, okay, we collect the data, and on an average, your delivery time is 35 minutes on an average, okay, and majority of the deliveries are delayed and they are rejected, okay. So from 35 minutes to 20 minutes, okay, 35 minutes to 20 minutes is a so from 35 minutes to 20 minutes is a Lean Six Sigma project, and that project is called as Project Y. Are you clear? So from the voice of customer, you are drilling down a project which can be a Lean Six Sigma project, and that is called a Project Y. Now, why it is called Project Y? Y is basically denoting output. Okay, there is an equation which is Y is equal to function of X. Focus here, guys. Okay, Y is equal to function of X. Y is output and X's are the inputs. Okay. Now, why it is called Project Y? Because let's say delivery time or hygiene rating or quality rating, all these are the outputs which are depending on lot of inputs, right? Now, delivery time might be depending on your, your efficiencies of the processes, okay, your vehicles of deliveries, etc. All right. So these are inputs. You need to work on the inputs to get a better output, which is the Y. That's why it's called Project Y. So Project Y is nothing but a meaningful, manageable project which is derived from the voice of customer. Are you clear? Yeah, this is called the goal or the project we have decided. So this is the external way of identifying the project. Okay. Yes, exactly. So Y is nothing but the outcome we are expecting, like delivery time. We want to improve delivery time. Okay. MTTR, MTBF. These are the project Ys. Here, the mean time or the average call handling time. These are called the Y. If I want to improve the taste of the food, the test becomes my project Y. Okay. Clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. So vocabulary clear hai? Everybody just give me yes. Super, super, amazing, amazing. Okay, this is called external way of identifying the project. Okay. Now, so it is explained in your, in your, what you can say, curriculum, with very detailed. Okay. Now, there is something called Kano model. Now this is very interesting step. Okay, it's called Kano model. Professor Noriaki Kano from Japan, he has basically developed this model. Okay, when you collect the voice of customer, okay, then basically gap between voice of customer and voice of process can be voice of customer is external, voice of process can be internal project. You can identify the project from voice of process as well. It can be an internal project. Okay, I will explain you how internal project can be identified. But if you derive a project from a voice of customer, then that, earlier voice of customer, then CTQ, CTS, and then, all those steps will come into picture. It's an external way of identifying. Okay, now let me explain you how from voice of process also you can identify the project. Okay, that's the next. After Kano model, I will explain you that. Okay. Now, coming back to Kano model. Now, Kano model, Professor Kano, once you identify, once you collect the data, once you collect the voice of customer, you can basically bifurcate that voice of customer into 3 different levels. What are those 3 different levels? The first one is called the basic feature. Let me give you an example of the marker. Okay, now this is the marker. This is the electronic board marker. Okay, it can be a whiteboard marker as well, or it can be a simple pen as well. Now tell me, for that product, what is the basic requirement from that product? Type in the chat box. from the pen or from the marker, what is the basic requirement from the customer? Type in chat box. Of the customer, not from the customer. It should write smoothly, right? Write properly. Exactly. Clear, everybody? It should write. And that is called the basic feature of the product. Are you understanding? The basic requirement from the product or service, it's called the basic feature. Okay. Now there is something called performance feature. Extending the same example. Now, earlier, this pen used to write for 1 month. If I write every day from this marker or from this pen, it used to last for 1 month. Now, because of some modifications, okay, now company has improved the performance. Now it is running for 2 months. Are you understanding? So the performance of the pen has improved. Are you understanding this? This is called a performance feature. Another example I will give. Let's say you are driving a car which is giving you 20 kilometer per liter mileage. Now the automobile company has done some modification in the engine, and now the mileage has become 25 kilometer per liter. And it's called a performance feature. It is an addition, it is a betterment in the performance. It is called a performance feature. Are you clear with this? And the third one is called the delighter feature. Delighter meaning within the product, you give something in the same cost, in the same price, you give something which is not expected by the customer. For example, in the marker, you give a digital clock, or in the marker, you give a small, what I can say, a pointer, electronic pointer while presentation, or a slide changer. In the marker, you give a slide changer. It is called a delighter feature. Are you understanding this? Okay, can you connect basic feature, performance feature, and the delighter feature? Yeah, the fragrance of the ink, exactly. Okay, fragrance of the ink, which is not expected by the customer. Clear hai? So what Professor Cano say, this is a very important thing. Okay, whenever you have got a basic feature, performance, and a delighter feature, whatever voice of customer you collect, all right, you divide all the voice of customer into these 3 buckets, and you select the project from the basic features first. If your product is not delivering the basic feature, that should be your priority number 1 project. Once your basic features are working fine, then you should focus on the performance features. If the performance features and the basic features are in place, they are doing well, then you can think of the delighter feature to enhance. Don't go to the delighter feature when your basic features are not in place. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Yes, Anushka, I will explain you. Clear hai? Simple, very basic, very fundamental, but it is just setting your priorities right. Yes. So delighter feature, which gives you a wow experience. Very rightly put, Omana. Delighter feature is a feature. Okay, Anushka. Delighter feature is a feature. While using the product or service, if you say wow, that is a delighter feature. Okay. So when writing, you will never say, if the pen writes or the marker writes, you will never say, wow, it is writing. Because it's a basic requirement, correct? But when you open and a beautiful fragrance comes out of it, fantastic fragrance comes out of it, it's a delighter feature. Are you understanding the difference between a basic and the delighter feature? Delighter is not expected by the customer, but you are still giving in the same pricing. Huh? If you are adding the pricing and giving it's not a delighter feature then. In the same pricing, you are giving something extraordinary. That is a delighter. Clear? So Cano model gives us the priority to select the projects. First, you attack on the basic feature. Basic feature में कोई gap है, तो उसको पहले आप gap को bridge करिए. That's what Cano says. Simple. Clear? Are you clear with the Cano model? Just type yes in the chat box. I'm just giving you a fundamental clarity on the concepts. So in your curriculum, it is explained with some examples and diagrams. Okay, so all these are examples, etc. are given. You can just go through this. All right. Super. Now, there is how you can, so this is external way of identifying the project. Now there is an internal way of identifying the project as well. Okay. Yeah, by the way, we will be taking the break around 8:30, 8:35. Okay, there will be a 10 minutes break. So don't worry, we'll have enough breaks and then we'll come back. Okay, so don't worry, we'll go with the flow. Okay, whatever we can cover, we will cover. Whatever is overspilled, we'll cover it tomorrow. Okay, super. Now this is the internal way of identifying the project. In this way, we first map all the processes. Process 1, process 2, process 3, process 4, process 5. Okay, for example, if it's a loan approval, then it will be first collecting the applications, then what you can say, segregating the application, accepted, rejected, or the applications are clearly filled or not. The third one is it will go to the credit department, and then they will check the credit score, or all the other supporting documents and all those things, then approval, and then the check release. So these are the steps. Similarly, your process also flows through the steps. Okay, so here they have given a process where it's a surface preparation, then the pre-coating, then the lead coating, then the primer application, and then there is a painting. Okay, so let's say there is a metal work is happening over there. So surface is prepared, and then there is a coating given, then there is a lead coating given, then the primer is applied, and then the actual real painting happens. So these are the 5 stages. Okay, now here they have mentioned yield. What is yield? Let's try to understand. Very simple example I will give. Yield is nothing but, let's say, in this first process, P1 is the first process, surface preparation. Let's say if I put 100 pieces, and in this particular process, if 97 pieces come out without any rejection or the defect, that means the yield is 97% or 0.97. 97 is nothing but 0.97. 97 divided by 100. Clear? If 100 are the input and 3 pieces are rejected because of some quality defect, that means my yield is 97% and 3% is my rejection. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? Super clear? Okay. Similarly, in the P2, process 2, which is pre-coating, out of 100 pieces, 94% is the yield, 6% is the rejection. Third process, 93% is the yield, 7% are rejection. Primer also 93% is the yield. And in the painting, the yield is the lowest, 60%. And there is a 40% rejection in this process. Are you clear? This yield is also called as throughput yield or first pass yield. Okay. And there is something called a rolled throughput yield. Rolled throughput yield is the overall yield of the value chain, which can be calculated by multiplication of individual yields. Okay. So 97% by 95, 94%, 93, 93, and 60%. If I multiply this, it will come to 47.32%. What does it mean? It means if I, let's say, put 100 pieces from the first process, then only 47 pieces will come out after painting without any defect or without any rejection. Are you clear with this? Is it clear? Just type yes in the chat box. Yield clear hai? Percentage yield, very simple. I've taken a very simple example so that anybody can correlate with this. Okay? Now, which is the lowest yield area? Type in the chat box. Which is the lowest yield area? Very evident. It is painting. Yes or no? Painting, the P5, process 5, P5, correct? Is the lowest yield area. So what we need to do is we need to focus over. That's our focus area. Okay. So we need to collect the data. What are the different types of rejections in the P5? what are the different types of rejections in the P5 painting. Okay. Once you collect the data, then you can do a Pareto analysis. Everybody is aware of Pareto analysis. We cover that in our yellow belt as well. Everybody is aware of this. Just give me a in the chat box. 80-20 principle सबको पता है. And tomorrow we will do it live on Minitab as well. Okay. Yes. So we collect the data of the painting rejection and we identify what are the biggest defect or biggest rejections of the painting, and those become our projects. And this is how we identify the internal projects. I repeat again. First, map the processes, find out the yields, find out the lowest performing yield area, collect the data, why there are more rejections, do a Pareto analysis, and identify the top, top defects, top 20% defects here. This is the focus area here. Okay, select these three, maybe 2 or 3 types of defects in the painting, and those are our basically projects. Clear? Very simple, but very powerful technique. Okay, so if you attack on that, your painting rejection will go down, your yield will go up, and your overall yield will improve. Clear? This is the power of this technique. Okay. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. Yes, very good. So once you identify the projects, then we go ahead, okay, to make the project charter. So project charter, everybody remember project charter, which we covered in the yellow belt section. What is problem statement, goal statement, everything. How many of you remember? Simple thing, yes. जो हम लोग ने कवर किया है, हम लोग फिर से कवर नहीं करेंगे. Or you can go through our, what do you say, green belt course content. उसमें भी explain किया है with the very good details. Okay. So I would like to cover something called SIPOC. Something called SIPOC. Okay. So हम लोग पहले SIPOC करेंगे. SIPOC is, so I'm just going to my whiteboard here. And we will cover something called SIPOC. What is SIPOC? SIPOC is nothing but it is SIPOC. Okay. So everybody knows that the process is at the center. There is some input to the process and there is some output which comes out of the process. Everybody knows this. There is an input which goes in the process and there is an output which comes out of process. Everybody knows this. Just type yes in the chat box. Simple. Input, process, output, everybody knows. Correct? Now, input comes from the supplier. Supplier supplies the input like raw material, etc., like data, etc. And output goes to the customer. Yeah. Output goes to the customer. Now, if you check the short form of this, supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Okay. Supplier, input, process, output, and customer. If you check this, then this is called as SIPOC. Everybody just type SIPOC in the chat box. SIPOC. SIPOC type kariye, which is a very important tool in this define phase. In this define phase, a very important tool. Okay. So let's make a simple SIPOC here. Okay, let's make a SIPOC of how many of you know how to make cup of tea? चाय बनाना किसको किसको आता है? Just type me in the chat box. किसको अच्छा आता है? किसको अच्छा आता है? बहुत ही बढ़िया चाय बनाना किसको आता है? Okay, चाय तो मेरा सबको आता है, right? But बढ़िया चाय बनाना किसको आता है? That's the more important and relevant question. Okay. Okay, me and question mark. So there is a doubt. There is a doubt within. Okay. Okay, very good. It doesn't matter. So let's make a very simple process of tea making. Okay. So let's start with this process of boil the water. Okay. So let's start with boiling the water. Okay. Now what happens after boiling the water? What will happen? Let's say the water has started boiling. After that, what will we do? What will be added into that? Type in the chat box. Yeah, what should we do? Should we put sugar first or the milk first or tea powder first? Tea powder after that? Okay, few people are saying tea powder. Okay, so I will add both. Okay, add tea and sugar. So I'm adding both so that it will brew, because these are the two elements which have the maximum impact, right? The tea, the grains which will brew in that, and then the sugar which should get dissolved in this entire mixture, right? After that, what happens? After that, add tea, add sugar. After that, add all the other ingredients. Okay, like elaichi and the milk. Okay, so other ingredients. So I'm just putting all the other ingredients. Okay, other ingredients. Okay, I'm just putting it in the short form just to understand, explain you this. So after this, it will brew for some time. Once it is ready, after that, what will do? What will you do then? After that, type in the chat box. Yes. ओके, आफ्टर अदर इंग्रेडिएंट्स उसके बाद में मिल्क ऐड करना है क्या? ओके, उसमें इंग्रेडिएंट्स में मिल्क पे पकड़ लो. ओके, देन फिल्टर एंड सर्व. ओके, सुपर. सो लेट्स से देन कम्स द फिल्टरिंग एंड सर्विंग. लेट्स मेक इट वेरी सिंपल एंड क्रिस्प. ओके, हमें प्रोसेस समझना बहुत जरूरी है. ऑल राइट. So then, where is that? Yes. So then you have filter and serve. Now, let's say there are 4 steps, very simple 4 steps. Now, for boiling the water, what are the inputs, guys? Type in the chat box. What are the inputs for boiling the water? Type in the chat box. This is now very important. Huh? So you need a pot. Okay, let's say pot, water, gas, lighter. Correct? Yeah, so gas, pot, water, lighter, everything is there. Now, who will supply the pot? It will be a vendor. Okay. A water will be coming from maybe a society or a municipal corporation. Let's say if I put a society or municipal corporation or whatever. Okay. Then gas will be, let's say in Mumbai, we use Mahanagar gas. Okay. Let's say, for example, then you can use Bharat gas or Mahanagar gas. So I will use Mahanagar gas. Okay. Then lighter again from the vendor. Now, what is the output of this? It will be boiled water. Understand this? Boiled water. Okay. And customer, now this is customer. Let's say, imagine you are a tea stall vendor. You are a tea stall vendor right now, and you are making to serve to the customer. Okay. So customers are coming and you are just making the cup of tea. So right now, when within the stages, you are the only customer. Okay. So this is the tea stall vendor as a customer. Like you are the tea stall vendor. Okay. So you are a customer right now. Then coming back to the next process, which is called adding the tea and the sugar. So what are the inputs here? The tea powder and the sugar and the spoon, the respective spoons. Okay, very, very important. See, more detailing you are doing, that will be better for you. Again, the respective vendors will be the suppliers of this. And then the tea powder and the sugar added, right? So the tea and sugar added. That's the output. And still it is the tea stall vendor only, the customer. Okay. Tea and milk. So the milk will come later. Okay, here. So then we are adding the other ingredients. Now other ingredients like milk, like you have elaichi. Okay, or you have the other all those gingers and all those other things. Okay, then ginger and all those stuff. Okay, so all the masala you will put as ingredients. Okay, and respective vendors will supply those things. Right? All right. So respective vendors. Here, other ingredients added. So ingredients added. And again, still you are the only customer here because it is internal. Okay, a masala item, exactly. Then filter and serve. So to filter and serve, what are the inputs required here? What are the inputs required for filter and serve? Yes, so you have that filter, or what do you call it as? The strainer, right? Strainer or the filter. The filter and the cup, let's say. Simple, make it very simple. Filter and cup. These are the inputs. Okay. Again, the respective vendors will supply them to you. Now, it is hot, refreshing cup of tea served to the customer. Cup of tea served. And now this is the final consumer who will consume this. Or I will say customer. Okay. Just to make it very simple. A customer who will ultimately consume it. So this is called SIPOC. So the first step is list down all the process steps. Then for each and every process step, what is the input? What is the output? Who is the supplier and who is the customer? Okay. Now understand this. This is a very important thing. Now, whatever projects we are doing, okay. So majority of the excess, you remember y is equal to function of x? Majority of the excess you will find in this column called input column. In this input column, you will find out all the excess, which are the factors which are influencing your project. You will find them over there. Okay. And majority of the stakeholders. Now, what is stakeholder? Stakeholder analysis. After this, I'm covering the stakeholder analysis. So the stakeholder analysis is a very important tool. Stakeholder meaning the people or the functions or the departments who are influencing the process, who are impacting the process, or they are getting impacted because of the process. They are called as stakeholders. Are you clear? Stakeholders of the projects or stakeholder of the process meaning the people, the functions who are impacting or getting impacted because of this process or because of the project are called stakeholders. Clear hai? So in this case, all the suppliers and all the internal and external customers are called stakeholders. So we can identify the stakeholders, we can identify the process steps, we can identify the boundaries of the project, and we can identify all the inputs which are essential for us in the analyze phase later. Clear? So this is called a SIPOC analysis. Can you make your own SIPOC analysis, your own process SIPOC analysis? Just type yes if you can. Can you make yourself? Make it as detailed as possible. Okay. Superb, superb. Very good. Fantastic. Amazing. So before we take a quick break, I want to cover stakeholder analysis because we have started touching this topic. So let me cover this stakeholder analysis before we take a quick 10 minutes break for, just refreshment. Okay. Because we are all tired, including me. Okay. It's a working day. So here is a stakeholder analysis. Just a second. Let me just check where there is the stakeholder analysis. Yeah. So stakeholder, as we said, the people, departments, functions who are basically impacting or getting impacted because of our project. Okay. Now, let me share my screen here. So what is stakeholder analysis and why it is important? It's a fantastic tool I have seen in Lean Six Sigma journey. Okay. This is called stakeholder analysis. It is available in your defined phase, green belt defined phase. Okay. Now, what is the stakeholder analysis? When we do a project, when we make a project in defined phase, we make a team of people. Okay, it's a team project. Lean Six Sigma projects are not driven individually. They're driven by the team. Okay. Yes, it's a racy, but the objective is a little different. Okay. Now understand this. When we decide the team initial meeting. Okay, remember the initial meeting when your managing director or the CEO or VP, okay, any top level management person who is there in the opening meeting. Imagine that way. You are the project leader and all the 5-6 people in the room are there. Okay, imagine the scenario. Now the MD says that this is a very important project for our company and we look forward for your wholehearted support. How many of you will give your full support? Everybody will raise their both hands and say, yes, yes, sir, we will all give you, 100%, 200% support, because, in front of management, everybody's enthusiastic. Then what happens? The meeting gets over. Then the reality creeps in. Okay. After that, after the end of the meeting, you give everybody some roles and responsibilities, maybe some data. Okay. Now, after that, after 1 week, nobody turns back with the data. So you call them up and they give you the excuses. Okay, I was busy, I was on leave, and there was a lot of problems in my process. You know that, right? So all the excuses will start coming in. The enthusiasm in the beginning, in the meeting in front of top management, gets fizzled out when we start working on a project, a real project. How many of you have experienced similar kind of thing in your company? Just type me in the chat box. Not in Lean Six Sigma project, but otherwise as well. Just type me in the chat box. Have you experienced this kind of scenario before? Yes? Correct? Yes, everybody has experienced this. Now, how do you gauge your engagement? This is the most important and critical question. How do you gauge the engagement level of the people? Okay. So this is the stakeholder analysis, which is done on the basis of the people's action. Their engagement should be gauged on the basis of the actions of the people and not on the basis of the commitment, verbal commitment. Okay. So this is tool which gauges the what is your commitment level on the basis of their action. So there are multiple levels they have given. It can be supporter level, compliant, indifferent, uncooperative, opposing, hostile. Okay, you can change this, alter this, and make it simpler as well. Supporting meaning supporting in all aspects. Okay, and compliant meaning whatever you are telling them, they are complying that. Okay, just whatever orders you are giving, whatever suggestions you are giving, they're following that. It's called compliant. Then indifferent meaning it is not making any difference to them. Okay, uncooperative meaning they are not cooperating to your suggestions. Opposing meaning they are not even cooperating, they're opposing to you. And hostile meaning they are aggressively opposing to you. Okay, so these are got various levels. So generally, P stands for present level of commitment. You can see here P. So P stands for present level of commitment and R stands for required level of commitment. So you can see here, everybody should be at least supportive or compliant, at least. Okay, so look at this. Sales department required to be compliant, but presently they are opposing the project. Okay, management, they should be supportive and they are right now they are supporting as well. Okay, employees are required to be compliant, but they are uncooperative right now. So this basically identifies the gap between these two. Are you understanding? And your role as a leader is to basically bridge this gap and through this communication, okay, continuous communication with them, to bring them to the top level. Okay, so you want them, all of them, to be at this level. This is what this stakeholder analysis is all about. Okay, very, very important. Just to give the rating to the engagement level, the commitment level on the basis of action. This is called stakeholder analysis. Very, very powerful tool. You can use it on your daily performance as well, because sometimes the numbers, every time you don't have the numbers to see. In that case, this kind of tool will be much helpful for you to see the commitment level. What are the actions they are taking? Okay, and you can gauge it according to that. Clear, everybody? This is called stakeholder analysis. Very, very powerful tool. If it is clear, just type yes in the chat box. Yes, Soel, you can just share the YouTube link. Yeah. Clear, everybody? Super. How many of you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. किसने नहीं किया है? Yeah. So can you just click on the link and subscribe to the channel right away while we are taking a break? Yeah, it will be available on the masterclass, on the hackathon folder. Kalpesh ji, you are the member, right? Just type yes in the chat box. You are the green belt, black belt member of the community, right? Fantastic. So it will be available on the green belt hackathon folder in LMS. Okay. So it will be uploaded, and tomorrow you will get it on the WhatsApp as well. You will get the recording on the WhatsApp as well. Okay. Super. PR meaning present level and required level together. So where the required level as well as the present level, they are together. Okay. Super. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. We will take a quick break. It is 8:35 right now. We will be back at 8:45 sharp. Okay. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea, stretch yourself. Okay. Take a quick bio break and then come back at 8:45. And once you are back, just type I am back in the chat box. Okay. Super. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, the people who are back, just type I'm back in the chat box so that we can start the second part of it. Just type I am back. It will give me the confirmation that you are back in your seat and ready to go. सुपर, चलिए तो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Next part. Yes, I hope all of you guys are back onto your seat. Super. So we have seen, the define phase factors, the basic fundamental factors like voice of customer, how to drill down the project. Okay. Then project charter we haven't covered today, but it was already covered, so I have not covered yet. SIPOC we have covered, and we have covered the internal project selection, external project selection. We have covered Kano model. Okay, everybody can correlate with this. Any point which I have missed in this list? Super. So the next point is called as communication plan or ratiometric. Let me just check ratiometrics. Yeah. So ratiometric is nothing but, let me share my screen right now. It is, RACI stands for responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Just let's try to understand this. Responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed, RACI, ratiometric. So all the stakeholders, just like stakeholder analysis, this is a different shade of stakeholder analysis, okay, where we are defining the responsibility and accountability. Now, let me explain you this very simple way. Now, let's say the person who is, let us try to understand this analogy, okay? If there is a person who is running the machine and taking the production, so he is responsible for the production numbers and the quality of the product. Are you clear with this? But the accountability lies with the supervisor or the manager. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat box. The person who is running the machine, who is responsible for the quality and the quantity of that product, but the accountability lies on the shoulder of the supervisor or the manager. If something goes wrong, the top management will ask the question to the manager and not the worker. Are you understanding this? So that defines the accountability. The person who is accountable for the result is called accountable. Okay. Now in Lean Six Sigma, you guys will be certified people, right? Certified green belt, certified black belt. You people are the accountable for the results, and other team members are responsible for the results. Are you understand the difference? In the cricket match, Rohit Sharma is accountable for the result. All the other players are responsible for the result. Are you clear? Just type yes in the chat box. Responsibility, accountability clear hai? Just give me yes. Okay. Clear? Any doubt in this? Let me, let me know. Okay. What is C and I? Consulted and informed. Consulted meaning in the project, during the project, you need to consult to certain people. For example, okay, let's say I'll give you example. There is a head of the department of the process, or is a person, or is let's say vice president operations, VP ops, and there is a master black belt of your project. Understand this? Now, one is representing the process. He's a domain expert. He's a top management person. And other is expert in Lean Six Sigma. Okay. Now, in your project, you are stuck in hypothesis testing. Where will you consult? Will you consult to VP operation or will you consult with master black belt? Type in the chat box, everybody. If you stuck in hypothesis testing, everybody type in the chat box. Who would you consult to? Would you go to VP operations or would you go to master black belt? Very simple, you will go to master black belt. Now, in the same project, you need some capex to automate one small operation. Now, do you consult with master black belt or do you go to the head of the operation? If there is a small automation requirement which requires maybe 10 lakh rupees investment, where will you go to? You will go to VP operation. Are you understanding the difference? So this is called C for consulted. So at what level, at what point you will consult to whom, that it's called consulted. And I for inform, that means in the project, you need to inform to certain people. Okay, you need to inform to the top management. You need to inform to the head of the department. You need to inform the progress of the project, the step by step. Okay, you need to inform to the what I can say, the process people as well, because there are changes you are making in the process. So those are called inform. So who will be responsible, who will be accountable, who will be consultant, who will be informed? That matrix is called ratio matrix. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box. You can go through this matrix later. Yeah. Super, guys. Thank you very much. Okay. So whenever, okay, the screen is not shared, is it? Is my screen visible, guys? Just type yes in the chat box. Is my screen visible? Yeah, it is visible. Okay. All right, guys, whenever we are in the program, right, and the recording is not on, please remind me for recording. Okay. So RACI matrix is nothing but it is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. This is the matrix which defines who is responsible for that activity, who is accountable for that activity. For that particular activity, who should you consult to, and who should be the informed people. Okay, that complete matrix is defined clearly with RACI matrix. Okay, now apart from that, there is something which is very interesting, which is called communication plan. Communication plan is nothing but a matrix or a plan of all the departments or all the stakeholders, how they will communicate with each other during the project. Now, you see, this entire project team, this entire project charter, SIPOC, communication plan, RACI matrix, everything is a temporary for the project aspect only. Your hierarchical communication will be different. Understand this. As per a hierarchy, you might be giving, what can say, you might be giving reporting to someone else, but for the project, okay, this matrix is for the project, applicable only for the project. During the project, who will communicate to whom, in what format? Okay, now every department, every company has different culture. Some companies has morning meetings. How many of you have the morning meetings? Every day you have a morning meeting, huddle meeting. How many of you have this? Yeah, a lot of companies have the morning. It's a way of communication only, right? Okay. How many of you have the fortnightly or a monthly management review meetings? Yes. Yes. Some of you follow Gemba meetings as well, right? Fantastic. On the shop floor where the problem is, you follow Gemba meetings, huddle meetings, or management review meetings, which we call it MRM. And that's exactly MRM, right? Or in projects, we call them as toll gate review as well. Okay. So there are various types of meetings and review meetings which happens. That is also communication, right? It is also a communication plan. Correct? So it can be through emails, through telephonic communication, through meetings, through these kinds of huddle meetings, MRM, etc. So what will be the structure of that? That is called as communication plan. Okay? Clear, everybody? So that overall defines our defined phase. Once the defined phase is over, then we go to the next phase of it, which is called as measure phase. Any question in defined phase? Let me know in the chat box. Anything which you want me to cover more? See, defined phase is more or less similar to, all the formats, which is, yellow belt, green belt, black belt. Okay. All the formats, defined phase remains more or less common. Okay. What changes? majorly are in the measure phase. Everybody please type measure phase in the chat box, measure phase. Yeah, define phase is overall, it is a little easier to understand. Everybody has typed measure phase in the chat box. Measure phase is a very important critical phase as far as green belt and the black belts are concerned, okay? So today what we'll do is, we will cover the basic fundamentals and philosophies of measure phase. And tomorrow, we are going to cover the Minitab of it, okay? Minitab, everything we will cover tomorrow. That will be even more exciting. We have to use all these processes or only one of them. So whatever 4 or 5 tools I have covered, no? Your define phase, your SIPOC, your project charter, your SIPOC, your Racimetric, your communication plan, okay, stakeholder analysis. These 4 or 5 tools we must use in our define phase. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Manoj ji, it is not M-A-J-O-R, it is M-E-A-S-U-R-E, M-E-A-S-U-R-E, okay? Measure. Now, what we do in measure phase, we collect the data, okay? And the punchline of the measure phase is, you can't manage what you don't measure. This is a very important line. You cannot manage or you cannot improve what you don't measure. Understand this, guys. Very, very important. Okay, if you want to improve the control on your, let's say, monthly household expenses, start measuring them, start capturing them. If you don't have that measurement, you will not able to manage it, you will not able to control it. Are you understanding? If you are working on your weight, if you are working on your cholesterol level, start measuring them regularly, start monitoring them regularly. Then only you will be able to manage them, control them, improve them. So measure meaning collecting the data frequently about it. That is called measure. So in the measure phase, the real problem we have, we are converting that problem into a data problem, into a statistical problem. With the help of some statistical tools, we will solve that problem. Okay. So in the measure, we collect the data. So there are 3 types of measures we have majorly. And those are called input measure, process measure, and output measure. The same tea example we can continue. In the input side, okay, we have water, milk, tea powder, and sugar. These are the input. Okay, so we can measure what is the quantity and quality of water. What is quality of water? Quantity is very simple, right? How many milliliter water we are using. That is the quantity. But what is quality? Quality could be, if it is a RO water, if it is a UV water, if it is a, the tap water, if it is a water taken from a mineral water. So every water's test will be different. Yes or no? A UV water tea and a mineral water tea, the test will be different. Yes or no? Everybody? Yeah, the softness and the hardness of the water will also play a very important also. It is a quality of water. Yes or no? Everybody with me? So we measure the quality and quantity of water, but it's a measure. Let's say quality and quantity of milk. Quantity of milk very common, like 20 milliliter, 30 milliliter, 40 milliliter, 50 milliliter. It is a measurement. It's a quantity. What is quality? Now Amul milk's taste will be different than Mother's Dairy milk, than the other milks, right? Are you understanding? So every brand, every quality will be different. Yes or no? The taste of the tea will be different. Okay, no cream, non-cream. Yes, there are so many types of milk as well. The toned milk. Okay, even buffalo milk, the taste will be different. The cow milk taste will be different. Okay, a lot of differences are there. Then the tea powder also. The society tea will be different. Taj Mahal tea will be different. Lipton will be different. Correct? Sugar also, quantity, quality, both will make the difference. Same goes with the process measures. Temperature, we can measure the temperature. Time, how much time we are boiling, that time we can measure. Stirring time, if we are stirring, how much time we are stirring. Okay, that will also make an impact. Then on the output side, we can measure the taste, we can measure the turnaround time, which is lead time to make this entire, cup of tea. So these are called input, process, and output measures. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Clear, everybody? Yeah, same brand also, they have different packages. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. There are various grades. Correct? Fantastic. Super. Now, let's do one exercise here. In your own process, write down one input measure. So just like write it like this: input measure, one process measure, and one output measure. Okay, type in the chat box quickly. What is one of your input measure which you measure, which you can measure or you can count? What is your process measure which you can measure actually? And what is your output measure which you can actually measure in your own process? Type in the chat box quickly, so that it will be a confirmation that you're connecting with that properly. Okay. Yes. So current and voltage. So type write input. What is process? What is output? So output delivery time. Okay. Input measure is number of parts received. Number of inflow calls are input. AHT of the call is the process, and customer satisfaction rate is the output. Fantastic, Rajivji. Raw material properties is the input measure. The temperature is the process measure, and the dimension is the output measure. Fantastic. Very good. Latency SLA is the input measure. Leakages is the process measure, and quality score is the output measure. Okay. Super. So I think whenever we understand the concept, try to connect it with our own process. That will make the concept understanding deeper. Clear, everybody? And whenever you are not able to connect, ask me. I will help you out over there. Clear? Very simple. Whatever measures, whatever we should be able to measure it, then it becomes a measure. Okay. Super, super. Now, when we collect the data, there are two types of data. One is called continuous data, and other is called discrete data. Very, very important. Just try to understand this. One is called continuous data, and other is called discrete data. Okay, continuous meaning the data which can be measured. Okay, the data which can be measured is called continuous. Input measure. Sorry, input. It's a continuous data. Yeah, I was muted. So the continuous and the discrete data, two types of data. One is the measured data. Now, the data which can be measured on a continuous scale is called continuous data. The data which can be measured on continuous scale is called continuous data. For example, length, height, weight, width, speed, pressure, temperature, all these are continuous data which can be measured on a continuous scale. Like for example, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4 is the length. 6, 6.1, 6.2, 6.3. Similarly, weight also. 70.1, 70.2 kg, 70.3 kg, 70.4, 80 kg, 81, 82, 83, 84. So on a continuous scale, we can measure it, and that is called a continuous data. Okay. On the other side, there is another kind of data which we cannot measure on the continuous scale, but we rather count it. For example, pass or fail. Okay, for example, pass, fail, male, female. How many male and how many female in the room right now? It is a count data. So here we are counting. So the counted data, it's called discrete data. How many rejected, how many accepted, how many pass, how many fail. Accept, reject, male, female, pass, fail. These are called count data. It's called discrete data. Now, continuous data can be basically shown in decimals. Okay. Discrete data generally are whole numbers. So you cannot show in the decimal. You cannot say 1.2 people. You will say either one person or two people. Okay. So it's a whole number and it is a discrete number. 1, 2, 3, 4, and nothing in between. It is called discrete data. I'll give you an example. Let's say I am a quality control person, quality assurance person or quality control person of a chocolate company. So I am just having the weight. Now, the weight criteria is if it is less than 10 grams, then reject it. Okay, I'm just giving you example. So I'm just checking the weight. So the weight of the chocolate, the first one is 10.1. So here is the result. So I will accept it. The second one is 10.0. So I will accept it. The third one is 9.9. So I will reject it. The fourth one is 9.8. I will reject it. The fifth one is 10.2. I will accept it. 10.5. I will accept it. So this is the weight data is continuous data, and this data is called discrete data. Are you clear with this? Just like yes in the chat box. Are you clear? So it depends on what kind of data are you collecting with yourself in your company. That is called continuous or discrete. Clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear? No questions? Second. Okay, super. Clear and so just type in the chat box. Super se bhi upar. Type in the chat box one continuous data in your process and one discrete data in your process which you basically capture. Type in the chat box which you generally use every day. Quality score, number of calls. So what is that? Discrete or continuous? Type in the chat box. Sensory, okay. Discrete data, okay. Yeah, very simple. Sarthak, how many students in your classroom? It's a discrete data. Okay. It's a discrete data. How many students in the classroom? For you, continuous data will be maybe scoring the percentage, 75.2%. It can be a continuous data. Yes? Fantastic. Clear, everybody? Super. So generally, continuous data gives us more information than the discrete data because discrete data gives us the pass or, let's say, for example, pass or fail. But how many marks they have scored that you don't know. Okay. So that will give us a limited information. Clear? Eh? So discrete data generally gives us a little limited information. Continuous data gives us more information, more precise information. Okay. Very good. Superb, superb, guys. Amazing. Okay. So generally we prefer the continuous data. Okay. Now, so what are the types of measures and what are the types of data we have covered? Let's come to statistics. This is very, very important. What is statistics? The simplest definition of statistics I have made. This is my homemade statement, homemade definition of statistics. Statistics is a science which converts data into information. Statistics is a science which converts data into information. Data into information, very simple. Data does not have any meaning to us. But if I convert that data into some meaningful, manageable graph or some statistics, we can extract some information out of it. Okay. I'll give you an example of it. Let's say, if I give you every day sales data of every day. Okay, there is a company and they have faced 365 days sales of each and every day. If I give you that number on an Excel sheet, your mind will not be able to comprehend it. But if I convert that into a trend chart, everyday trend chart, up and down, I can understand whether that company is improving, either sale is growing or they are going down. Are you understanding? So with the help of these graphical statistical tools and analysis, I am getting some information. That data does not have any meaning to me, but that information has a very important meaning. I can take some decisions. I can make some correction in the process and, improve that position. Are you clear? So are you clear with the statistics? It's a science which converts data into information. Very simplest definition. My objective of covering this is to make this tough topic very, very simple and easy. Clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Yes, it is visualization of the data, graphically, statistically, both. So tomorrow we will be doing the Minitab exercises, but today we will cover the basic fundamentals. Okay. Now, look at this. When it comes to statistics, there are two parts of it. One is called descriptive, other is called inferential. Very, very important for us to understand. So this is where data goes in statistics, information comes out, right? And there are datas are of two types, correct? What are the data types? Discrete and continuous. So that is about the data, which goes in the statistics and takes out the information. Statistics also has got two parts. One is called descriptive and other is called inferential. Let me give you an example of this. Okay, everybody knows cricket, right? Let's say there is a T20 match going on. There's a T20 match going on. And after 5 overs, let's say, after 5 overs, the score is 40 runs and 1 wicket. Okay, so 8 runs per over. That is the run rate going on. Now, this is called as descriptive statistic because out of the 20 over is a population. Population meaning entire data set. And out of 20 over, 5 over is a sample of the data set. Okay. Let's say SNG has got, let's say, 5,000 paid members. Out of which, let's say, in the room right now, there are, let's say, 100 team members. So 5,000 is an entire population, and the current 100 are the representatives of it. It is called sample. Everybody is aware of sample and the population? Just type yes in the chat box. So descriptive talks about the sample. Clear hai? Yes. And in the same match, there you see a projected score. Yes or no? If they continue playing with 8 runs and over, they will make 160 runs. If they score at 9 runs, they will make 180. If they score at 10 runs per over, they will make 200. It is called projected score. Just below that, there is a strip. Okay. So this is projection about the population, which is 20 overs. Okay. And this is about the population. And this is called as inferential statistic. So descriptive is about the sample. Okay. So descriptive is about the past, which has already happened. 5 overs have happened, done. It has become the past. It is a small sample of 20 overs. So it is about a past, it is about a sample. It is called descriptive statistics. And inferential is the projected score, which is about the population, which is about the entire 20 overs. Are you clear? Descriptive and inferential, just like yes in the chat. Fundamental difference cover samajh mein aaya with a simple example of cricket score. Clear? Another example is the blood report. Let's say if we have some infection because of viral fever or some infection. So the doctor suggests us to take the blood sample report. Okay. So we go to the pathology lab, give the blood sample. So in our body, we have around 5 to 6 liters of blood. Okay. But the pathologists do not take entire blood out, right? So they just take small bit of blood, a small sample. That is called a sample, descriptive. And then the report comes. It's called descriptive. The report of the sample is called descriptive statistics. Okay, what is your RBC count, WBC count, cholesterol level, and all those data set we get. Okay, then the doctor prescribes what exactly is doctor infers out of it. Doctor, what you can say. Finally, with the small blood sample, what is the infection in your overall blood? What is the population? So doctor basically identifies that. It is called inferential statistics. On that basis, doctor prescribes the medicine. And this is called inferential statistics. Are you clear? So this is a prediction about the population and descriptive is about the sample. Clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. Predictive came, vehicle can run with the current fuel will be example of inferential. Very good. Very good. Predictive, kilometers. Yes. So in some of the cars, high-end cars, okay, it gives you that this vehicle with this fuel can run up to 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, okay, 20 kilometers. It's called predictive. It's called inferential. So, clear it? So in descriptive statistics, there are two parts. One is called central tendency, other is called dispersion. Now both are very, very important. Try to understand. Okay. Inferential statistics covers hypothesis, regression, etc., which we will cover in the analyze phase. Let's now focus today on this part, descriptive. So today we will cover this descriptive part theoretically. Okay. Are they interdependent? Yes, they are interdependent. Absolutely, they are interdependent. Descriptive and inferential are interdependent. Absolutely, yes. Okay. So with the sample data, we are inferring about a population. So they are absolutely dependent on each other. Okay. Now coming back to this. Central tendency and dispersion. Just try to understand this. Okay. Now, imagine, let me give you a simple example of a cricket match. In Indian cricket, now there are, let's say, two wicketkeeper batsmen. Okay. And selection committee has to decide only one batsman out of it. Okay. So what they do, they take the average first. Okay. Let's say there are two batsmen, one is Rishabh Pant and let's say KL Rahul. And they have to they select one wicket-keeping batsman. Okay. Let's say their wicket-keeping skills are at par, their experience is at par, both are senior players, experienced players, and wicket-keeping skills are only, equivalent to each other. Now there are only two factors. One is the average score. So they collect the last 30 samples or 30 matches innings. So Rishabh Pant in one-day cricket, in let's say scoring 40 per runs per match or per inning, and Rahul also is scoring 40 runs per inning. Similar. Okay. But when they collect the data, okay, so it looks like this. Rishabh Pant's data, the bell-shaped curve looks like this, while KL Rahul's bell-shaped curve look like this. Are you understanding the difference between these two graphs? Just type yes in the chat box. Are you understanding the difference between this is Rishabh Pant? The first one is Rishabh Pant and the second one is Rahul. Are you understanding the difference between these two graphs? The Rishabh Pant graph is very, very spreaded. The dispersion is very high. So if they take the standard deviation, which is sigma, Rishabh Pant's standard deviation is around 15 runs and KL Rahul's standard deviation is around 5 runs. Are you understanding? And the average is 40 runs only. So average, the center is exactly located at 40, but the spread is different. Are you understanding? So Rahul is very, very precise and accurate at the center. The variation is very low, whereas Rishabh Pant has a huge variation. It means sometimes Rishabh Pant scores 5 runs, sometimes he scores 80 runs. Whereas KL Rahul is very consistent. He will score 35 to 50, 35 to 50, 35 to 50, 35 to 45, 35 to 45. Very consistent. Who would you select in this? Type in the chat box. Who would you select? Type in the chat box. Everybody. Are you understanding the difference? So only the average will not serve the purpose. We have to take dispersion also into consideration. So the first 40 runs is actually indicator of the central tendency. This one. The average is this one, what do you say, central tendency, and the spread is basically about a dispersion. Okay, so today we are going to cover both these aspects. Clear, everybody? Funda clear okay with this simple example? Funda is clear. Now for the central tendency, we will cover mean, mode, median, and for the dispersion, we are going to cover range, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, clear? So we will just understand the theoretical part of it today. Tomorrow we will go for the yes, more variation, more rejection. Exactly. That is very, very important. Okay. Super. Now let's go to the central tendency part of it, mean, mode, and median. Okay. Chalo. So this is what is explained, descriptive, inferential, etc. So let's go to central tendency. The first one is called mean. Mean is simple average, arithmetic average is called mean. Very simple. So I'll not spend much time over here. Look at it. So there are 5 data points. the production numbers 500, 750, and you have taken the average, which is 615. So the average daily production is 615. This is called the mean. Clear? Mean is clear. Everybody just type yes in the chat box. सबको mean मालूम है? Mean मतलब average, simple average. Okay? Yes. Now, what is the mode? What is the mode? Mode is nothing but the maximum frequently occurring value is called mode. Maximum frequently occurring value is called mode. For example, let's observe this. Let's observe this data point and which value is occurring maximum time. Just observe this. Which value is coming maximum time? Type in the chat box. Observe very closely. So 75 1, 75 2, and 75 3. So 75 is coming 3 times. 80 is also coming, but it is only coming 2 times. So the mode in this case is called 75. Are you clear with this? It is a maximum frequently occurring value. It's called mode. This is also one indicator of a central tendency. Okay. When we draw, a normal distribution curve like this is called the mode. Okay. So mode कैसे निकलता है? So normal distribution curve कैसे निकलेगा इसमें? First, let's say, first we will draw a histogram. Okay. So we will draw a histogram like, for example, 60, okay, 62, and or maybe 65, or maybe 70, or 75, 80, 85, 90, etc. Okay. Now around 60, what is this classification? Let's say 60 is only one data point is there. 65, again only 65 and 62, right? So there are 2 data points which are around this. Again 70, there is nothing. 75, there are 3 data points, correct? So this is the highest occurring frequency. Again 80, there are 2. Again 85, there is nothing, and again there is a 19. So you can see if I draw a histogram like this is called the mode. Are you clear? The highest occurring value. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Super clear? Even though if it is positions, so this is a very good question. Okay, it's a very good question. What if let's make this, okay? What if 90, we have 5 90s like this. Okay, 90, 90, 90, or let's say 4 90s. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then the 90s will become the mode. And this is called a skewed distribution. This is called a skewed distribution. Everybody write this down. So mode can be on the other side of this, spectrum as well. It can be on the center. It can be on the other side as well. Clear, everybody? But the maximum occurring value is called mode. And this is not, the skewed distribution is not the normal distribution. Exactly. Fantastic. I will explain you what is normal distribution. Yahan tak clear hai mode. Mode is the highest frequently occurring value. Okay. If there are 2 to 3 modes, let's say, for example, let's say 75 is there, 80 is also there again. So you have 3 75s and 3 80s. This is called a bimodal distribution. It looks like this. So this is 75 wala thing and this is 80 wala thing. Are you clear? This is called bimodal distribution. Okay. Are you clear with this? If you have 80, also one more time. Okay. So 3 times 80, 3 times 75 is called bimodal. Now, if you have every data point has a same frequency, either 1 or either 2. All the data points are exactly have the same frequency. That is called uniform distribution. It looks like this. All the data points have the same frequency. It's called uniform distribution. Here. So uniform distribution does not have any mode. And this is also not the normal distribution. Just type yes in the chat box. So mode clear hai? Mode is clear. The maximum frequently occurring value. That's it. Okay. Now comes the median. Now let's come to median. Okay. Mean is simple average. Mode is the maximum frequently occurring value. What is median? If I arrange the data in ascending or descending order. Okay, let's say this is a data set. I have arranged the data in the ascending order. Okay, lowest to highest. Then the central value is called the median. The central value is called median. If I arrange the data in the ascending order or descending order, whatever is the central value, that is, so 19 is the median in this case. Okay. So if, see, there are 7 data points here, right? So there is only one median, right? Now, for example, let's say there is another data point here, let's say 42. In that case, 19 and 25, both data points will be the center. Yes or no, everybody? Yes. In that case, we have to take the average of this. So average of 19 and 25, so which is 22, is the median. Clear? Median clear hai? If you arrange the data set in ascending or descending order, what is the central value is called the median. Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Mean, mode, median, clear, super clear. Just give me yes. Fantastic, fantastic, super. Now, how many of you have heard about percentile? Have you heard about percentile? Anybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. Percentile. Can you explain me percentile in one sentence? What is the formula for percentile? How do you calculate it? Anybody has a formula? Highest number divided participant. Okay. 4. नहीं, 4 वो क्वार्टाइल वाला हो गया. चंतनु जी, 4 हम लोग क्वार्टाइल के लिए यूज करते हैं. परसेंटाइल के लिए 100, right? Okay, let me explain you in a very simplistic terminology. Even a 5th standard person, okay, 10-year-old person also, 10-year-old boy or girl also can understand it. Okay, let's imagine this is a cake, a horizontal cake, very simple, huh? And this cake, and we have 100 people in the room. Okay, and let's say today is my birthday. Imagine, it's not actually, but imagine I have a birthday today, and I am actually want to divide this into equal 100 pieces. So how many cuts I have to make equal 100 pieces? Type in the chat box. How many cuts? 99 cuts. Are you clear, everybody? 99 cuts I have to make 100 equal pieces, and those 99 cuts, every cut is called 1 percentile. Are you understanding? Every cut is called 1 percentile. Clear, everybody? Clear? Very simple example. Yes, just give me yes in the chat box. Similarly, on the same ground, imagine the same cake, but now there are only 4 people in the room. There are only 4 people in the room. Now I want to divide this cake into 4 equal pieces. So how many cuts I have to make? Type in the chat box. 1, 2. How many cuts? 3 cuts. To make 4 equal pieces, I have to make 3 cuts. Are you clear with this? 1 cut, 2 cut, and 3 cuts will make 4 equal pieces. Yes or no? Everybody clear with this? Super clear? Okay. So this is called as quartile, because we have cut them into 4 equal pieces. So every cut is called 1 quartile. So this is called first quartile. First quartile. This is second quartile, and this is third quartile. Now understand this. The first quartile is also can be called as 25th percentile. Yes or no? The first quartile can also be called as 25th percentile. Yes or no? Everybody just type yes if you have understood this. The second quartile also can be called as 50th percentile. Yes or no? And the third can also be called as 75th percentile. Yes or no? Simple. Yes, same hai, percentile, quartile. Now the second quartile or 50th percentile, this line, can we call it as median? This line, which is center line. Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear, everybody? Now coming back to this. This is my first quartile, quartile 1. This is my second quartile, quartile 2. And this is my third quartile, quartile 3. And this is nothing but my median. Everybody got this? Just give me yes in the chat box. Have you understood this? Simple. Tomorrow that will all these theoretical points will make sense. Clear hai everybody? Amazing, amazing. Super, super. Okay, here tomorrow we will make a box plot on Minitab. Okay, there we will understand. Okay, and statistical analysis. Okay, we'll do. There you will understand median, mode, mean, quartile, percentile, everything. Okay, so I'm just clearing your fundamentals first. Now this is mean, mode, median, the central tendency. Now let's shift ourselves to dispersion. Okay, now dispersion can be measured by range, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, these are the three things. So let's understand this. The range is the first part. What is range? In the given data set, whatever is the difference between the highest and the lowest value is called the range. For example, these are the 7 production days. The highest production was 900. The lowest production was the 300. So the range is 600. Are you clear with this? Okay. Let's say in the room, if we select the height of the people, the tallest person and the shortest person, the difference between these two is called the range. Are you clear? Just like yes in the chat box. It's the highest value minus lowest value. Okay, the simplest one. Then the next one is called variance and standard deviation. And for that, let's understand this. Okay, there is a 6-step procedure I have designed to calculate the standard deviation sigma. Okay, so we will understand this and then we will close the chapter for the day today. Okay, this is very exciting. Just try to understand this. Very simple, but if you focus. Okay, now, so we have understood the central tendency. Now we are understanding the variance, the dispersion. Okay, so the first step of doing this is to collect the data. The first step is collect the data. So we have collected the data 10, 12, 15, 18, 20. I've just taken a very simple data set so that you can understand it. Okay. The second is take the average of this. Step number 2, take the average. So you add them up and take the average. The average becomes 15. Okay, so the addition is 75 divided by 5 is equal to 15. So first step is collect the data. Second step is collect the average. Now, because we are calculating the deviation, the deviation is which is nothing but the distance from the center point, the mean point. Okay. So the third step is to calculate the deviation from the mean. Now this is very interesting. From the 15, which is the average, how much is the distance of each and every data point we will calculate? Okay. For example, let's look at this. So what is the distance between 10 and 15? Type in the chat box. 10 or 15 के बीच में कितना difference है? 5. Is it 5 or is it minus 5? It is minus 5. Just focus. Very important. It is minus 5. Yes, because 10 minus 15 is equal to minus 5. Then 12 minus 15, the distance is minus 3. Then 15 minus 15, it is 0. See, what I'm doing is I'm taking each and every data point here. And from 15, what is the distance? Okay. Then 18 minus 15 is 3. And 20 minus 15 is 5. Everybody got this? Distances? Step number 3, calculate the deviations. Everybody with me? Just like this in the chat box. Super. Anybody behind me? Let me know. Then, if we can take the average, let's understand this. If we take average of this, because of the minus and plus, it will clash and it will give us the 0 or actually not the real answer. Okay. To avoid this situation, what statisticians have done, they have squared the deviation because the squared value is always a positive value. Yeah, repeat step number 3. Step number 3 is the deviation from the mean. Deviation meaning the distance from the mean. Mean is 15. So we are calculating the deviation. the distance from each and every data point from the mean. Clear hai? So it means, let me quickly cover the step number 3 once again. Look at this. This is the average. 50 is the average. So what is the distance between 10 and 15? This is -5. What is the distance between 12 and 15? Which is -3. Are you clear? Yes. What is the distance between 15 and 15? It is 0. What is on the other side? What is the distance between 18 and 15? Which is 3. What is the distance between 20 and 15? Which is 5. Clear, everybody? Nitinji, are you clear with this? Can we take the modulus value also? Yes, we can. That is a different, that different calculation. First, let's understand this. Then I will explain you that. Okay. Now, once we calculate deviation, because the plus and minus will clash with each other, we will not get a right average. Okay. If we take the average will become 0. Does it mean there is no deviation? There is 0 deviation? The answer is no. There is a deviation. Okay, there is a distance, but we are not able to catch the actual average because of the positive and negative are clashing with each other. So what those people, smart people, statisticians have done, they have taken the square of the deviation because the squared value is always a positive value. So instead of -5, they are taking -5 square, which is nothing but 25. Okay, so let me write down over here. So 25. Then the -3 square is 9. Then the 0 square is 0. Then what is the 3 square? Again 9. And the 5 square is 25. Okay. So we have taken the squared value of these deviations. Okay. Now what we are doing is, now can you take the average of this? Just calculate the average. 25 plus 9 plus 0 plus 9 plus 25. Can you give me the answer for this? This is a step number 5. Take the average of the squared values now. Just calculate it and give me the answer quickly. Everybody calculate it properly and give me the answer. 25 plus 9 plus 9 plus 25 divided by 5. No, do it properly. Not the right answer. No, it cannot be 48. 13.6 is the right answer. 25 plus 9 plus 0 plus 9 plus 25, which is 68, divided by 5 is equal to 13.6. Everybody got this answer? 13.6 is the right answer. 13.6. And this is called variance, which is denoted by sigma square. Sigma square. Step number 5. Okay, variance. The average of the squared value is called variance. Okay. Now, because we have taken the average, we have to take the square root. That is the step number 6. We have to take the square root of the variance, which is sigma square. Can you take the square root of 13.6 and tell me the answer in the chat? Square root of 13.6, which is 3.68. So this is called our standard deviation sigma. 3.68. Everybody got this answer? Very simple. So how do we read this? This is very, very important. This is very, very important. So each and every data point, so let me remove all this stuff. So each and every data point is, okay, from the center value of 15, all the data points are on an average 3.68 units away from this value. All these data points are on an average 3.68 unit away. Like the Rishabh Pant wala example. Okay, Rishabh Pant wala example you have seen. It is a standard deviation. Okay, the standard deviation is high. That means it is a more spread. If standard deviation is low, it is indicating the lower spread. Are you understanding? Okay. Now, what is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? Does standard deviation have any unit of measure? Standard deviation को कोई unit of measurement हो सकता है क्या? Type in the chat box. Can we have any unit of measure? Sigma. Okay, there is no unit. No unit. Sigma. No. Standard deviation has the unit of measurement, that of the data set. If data set is in centimeter, standard deviation will be in centimeter. If data set is in kilometers, standard deviation will be in kilometer. Are you clear everybody? जिस डेटा सेट का जो यूनिट ऑफ मेजरमेंट है वो ही स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन का यूनिट होगा. राइट दिस डाउन. क्लियर? सुपर. So this is how what is standard deviation, how it is derived. I've explained it to you. So when you will become a Lean Six Sigma practitioner, you should be understand what is Sigma first, and this is what we have covered. Yeah. Was it interesting? Was it interesting, guys? Yes, super, super. Value of the data set would be measurement of the deviation. Value of the data set would be the measurement of deviation. Me samjha nahi. So value of the data set meaning the unit of measurement I'm talking about. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Variance is standard deviation square. Okay. Now I will explain you why the variance is taken in the squared value. Okay. So tomorrow I will explain you that. Okay. Fantastic. So unit of the measurement is the value of the data set used in the measurement. That's exactly. If let's say we measure the heights of the people, the height will be in centimeter, right? So standard deviation taken out from that data set will be in centimeter only. Okay. If unit of measurement is kilogram, the standard deviation will be in kilogram. That's it. Okay. Same as data set. Why we don't take modulus? Okay. Okay. Chalo, मैं बता देता हूँ. See, there is another way which is called the mean deviation as well. There is something called mean deviation, which is not standard deviation. Understand? So what is the difference between standard deviation and mean deviation? Imagine another way, let's say, instead of minus, we take the absolute value of this. Okay, for example, instead of -5, we just take 5. We just take 5, we just take 3, we just take 0, 3, and 5. Are you understanding? And then we take the what you can say, the absolute value and take the average. So one thing is that is you may not get the right picture. Okay. Plus the squared value gives us a positive value. Now the major advantage we get, okay, whatever I have studied the standard deviation, as we go away from the mean, the center value, this is a very important pointer. As the distance goes away, the squared value is an amplified version of the distance. Yes or no? See, let's understand this. If the absolute value, if I take the 10, if let's say absolute distance is 10, instead of 10, if I take the square value, which is 100, see the amplification effect. So standard deviation gives us that amplification effect when we are taking the squared value. And that is why statisticians have chosen the squared values over the absolute values. Are you clear with this? And this is the real reason behind it. So we get the amplified effect of this because we are measuring the dispersion, right? As the dispersion is increasing, we should have that amplification effect in that measurement. And that is the reason, standard deviation has been selected. Okay? Clear? Just contemplate on this. Just think about it. Clear? A very interesting question, by the way. Super, super. Thank you very much, guys, for joining in. You guys are also must be tired. Okay. So tomorrow we will continue with the same enthusiasm with Minitab, some exercises, and we'll, if possible, if time permits, we'll enter into the analyze phase as well. Okay. Super. Amazing. Thank you very much for joining in. The recording will be available in the in our hackathon folder. All right. Yes, Minitab app में और ज़्यादा मजा आएगा कल. All right, चलो. Thank you very much for joining in. Keep learning, keep growing. This is Dinesh Patil signing off. Bye bye. Take care. Good night.